class that is really strong and powerful, and looking forward to a great game.
Hurricanes host the Knolls Saturday night with kickoff at 7 o'clock. It's 76 degrees at 12 o'clock time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, get ready to spend the next 2 hours with our three sports-loving ladies. Mia O'Brien, Lauren Brooks, and Taylor Dahl.
Hey, hey. This is Helmets and Heels
On 1010XL, switched on by First Coast Lighting and Fans. Upscale lighting, fans, and home decor.
Show me what you got, pretty lady.
We are turning the page to the Packers today. We kind of started it yesterday, and really I feel like the moment that the Jaguars beat the Patriots, everyone immediately was like, okay, yeah, that team wasn't very good. You have the Packers coming to town, so you're going to have to shore some things up. Doug Peterson met with the media this morning, and Mia, as you reported, it feels like we are going to see something that a lot of us wanted, which is Foye Oluokun and Ventrell Miller on the field at the same time.
But we also will see the return of the hockey shifts, the true rotations, Lauren.
We love those.
Because,
the hockey season has begun.
Linebacker
Doug Peterson gave us one answer and then promptly gave us the other answer out of the other side of his mouth, which not in a derogatory way. Just led off with the question of let's have it ready to go. Let's have it ready to go. Doug Peterson, RJ Saunders, was asked with regard, don't even have it in front of me. Words are hard today. Okay, stand by. Let me preface this. Okay. This will be number 5, RJ. Doug Peterson was asked point blank, has Ventrell Miller earned not only the respect of the locker room, the opportunity for more playing time, but is there a world in which he and Foye Oluokun are your two starting off-ball linebackers?
Whatever that looks like. And sometimes doesn't necessarily have to be the best football player, but the one that does things right the most. But I do still think that there's enough of a rotational piece with those guys. I think that's one of the positions that's gotten better. You know, these last couple of weeks it has been the linebacker. I think Devin in the middle's gotten better. Ventrell, we know he's improved. And now with the addition of Foye coming back, if he's ready to go, I think you got your combinations back that you want.
So, again, it's out of one side of your mouth, you're saying, look, we're going to put the best 11 on the field. Mm-hmm. It doesn't necessarily have to be the best football player. It can be who does the most things right the most.
Mm-hmm. What is he saying there if you're reading between the lines?
But then seconds later, he responds with, but I still think there's enough of a rotational piece with these guys. Devin's gotten better. Ventrell has improved. You've got your combination back that you want in terms of a rotation.
I was literally cracking up when I was listening to Jax today, and Mike and Tony were talking about that clip because they were all kind of started laughing, and they were just like, words, like, what does that even mean? And then Mike was like, it's English, but it doesn't really make a complete sentence that you can really grasp what he's saying, because yes, you're talking out of both sides in that one little comment. And I get part of it too. And he's made the comments of, you want to see how Foye does obviously this week back at practice. So maybe that's part of it too. How ready and how much can Foye be out on the field right away? Does that factor in? I would hope eventually you're just seeing a whole lot of Foye and Ventrell, and just sprinkle in Devin and some when you're wanting to add a little more pass rush and blitz and something like that. Because at this point, he's awful in coverage. You don't want Devin Lloyd on the field when he has to be in any sort of coverage at this point.
And of course, we're assuming that Foye Oluokun plays this Sunday.
Yes.
And he's on the right track is what it seems like. But he also may not. And so you may again see Devin Lloyd out there a lot, in addition to Ventrell Miller and then Chad Muma as well. At the end of the day, the defensive coaches should hopefully know the right percentage now that we are 7 weeks into the season, the right percentage that their best players should play. And we've talked about it a ton. You got to play your guys at the positions where they are best. That's finally starting to happen. Yeah. And you have to have certain guys on the field more than other guys. And it shouldn't be a constant rotation if the defense is playing well.
Yeah.
You should by now have figured out who needs to play where. And so we certainly talked about that yesterday as far as Darnell Savage switching more to safety. And I think that's important too.
Which I do want to clarify. I know I tweeted this out yesterday and I was informed that, and I looked back and verified this. Darnell Savage has, in fact, been listed as the starting safety opposite Andre Sisco on each of the Jaguars' official depth charts that they've released dating back to week 1. And so that in and of itself is interesting to me. The fact that was, at least on paper, which we know that once upon a time, Ryan Nielsen said that the depth chart does not exist. It's etched in sand.
Yeah.
But that official depth chart that was released ahead of the Miami game had Savage starting at safety, not at the nickel position. And we did see him play.
It also had Muma listed as 2 starting positions, and it still does.
You're not wrong there.
So,
it also has Eric Armstead, for those of you who replied to my tweet. Yes, it has him listed as a starting defensive tackle, and it has the last 7 weeks. But I did want to make sure we got that clarification out there, that has been how this depth chart, if only what is distributed to the media and to the public, that is what they've been saying.
Yeah, it hasn't changed. I think that's been the frustrating part. Every week I go to look at the depth chart hoping that they are going to make the necessary changes. And obviously the NFL doesn't care if their depth chart is accurate or not, or else they would have had to adjust it to this point in time. But yeah, I think Ryan Nielsen hopefully has figured out that he needs Josh Hines-Allen or Trayvon Walker on the field at all times. And unless they trade for some edge rusher that's out there, which doesn't feel like they're going to do that because they haven't done that in the past, that's for sure. I want to talk a little bit about the Chiefs acquiring DeAndre Hopkins from the Titans. When that news broke early this morning, it seemed like, well, that's a very smart move for the Chiefs, considering they've lost Rashee Rice for the full season. They've lost Hollywood Brown for the full season. We saw that here in the preseason, that injury. And then Juju Smith-Schuster also with the hamstring injury. Even though D-Hop hasn't had a ton of production this season, it still feels like this is one of the better 30-plus-year-old receivers in this league. And assuming that he's healthy, he's going to greatly help the Chiefs' offense, which, oh, by the way, since Patrick Mahomes took over in 2018, has been a top 6 passing offense in all of the league every single year.
And they're 6-0, despite the fact that Taylor Dahl, Patrick Mahomes has how many interceptions to how many
8,
touchdowns? Yeah.
6 touchdowns, 8 picks.
8 to 6, yeah.
Yep, that's what I thought. Look, the Chiefs were in the market for a wide receiver. I will let you.
They wanted Cooper Kupp.
Take that information and do what you will. They were making phone calls throughout the National Football League. I can assure you of that. And the fact that they land on D-Hop, there's 2 sides to the coin. Number one, makes sense. It's a win-now move for them, for a player who, yes, is in his age 33 season, but has played like a younger player at times.
He's 31.
Oh, 31? I thought he was 33. Okay, either way.
31 or 32.
Sorry, 31 is the new 33.
Yeah,
we all look
32.
Yeah.
32 for him, and then 31 for Devontae Adams and 31 for Mike Evans. So he's 32, yeah.
Okay, either way. Point being, he's in his 30s. He's not in his prime, but he is certainly still a serviceable piece. He also largely, depending on where you fall in the belief in Will Levis, he largely has not had a quarterback for the last year and a half. And so that's where we could see prime D-Hop once again. The other side of the coin, Taylor, is that this is the Titans all but waving the white flag. Those are Buck Rising, our good friend up at 104.5 The Zone's words, not mine. I also think it's interesting when paired with the comments from none other than one Calvin Ridley over the last few weeks, in which he has complained about his lack of targets, if only in the first half of football games, while also leading the National Football League and putting up historically bad numbers when it comes to his drop rate. I'm going to pull up that stat while y'all ladies respond, because I want to make sure we reveal the right numbers, because it's a sight to behold.
Yeah, I think I said preseason when we were talking about DeAndre Hopkins and what this year could look like, I still think DeAndre Hopkins can play at a really high level. I mean, he had over 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns last season, and that was with Tennessee. Obviously, I think the bigger issue has been the quarterback with Mason Rudolph and Will Levis in Tennessee. I think that with someone like Patrick Mahomes, this is probably the perfect fit. It almost feels like the Tennessee Titans have been the place where, like, receivers, because we've seen this already, where the older receiver goes, it doesn't work out, they trade him somewhere and they're redeemed and they're back and they go to a quarterback that can actually get them the ball, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, maybe he's not dead yet. I think when DeAndre Hopkins is healthy and he's on the football field, he is making an impact on your offense, especially with a guy like Patrick Mahomes. I think this is, and we could talk about the Cooper Kupp, which maybe that is the younger player that you would want.
Totally different players, which is
very
what's interesting.
Yeah.
Kupp is obviously your slot receiver, and DeAndre Hopkins is the big, tall possession guy.
Yeah, which maybe that's why they went this route, is because their game this year has been a lot of short, intermediate passes. That's what all that Patrick Mahomes has really been able to do. That's why his numbers aren't the way that we've seen in previous years when it comes to yardage and when it comes to touchdowns, because they haven't been able to get, especially since Rashee Rice went out, they haven't been able to get those deep balls going. And so someone like DeAndre Hopkins obviously adds that element right away. And then maybe you don't have to force Travis Kelce so much into those situations, which he hasn't played up to what what a normal Travis Kelce looks like. And so I think we don't want it. We don't want to see the Chiefs get a weapon where Patrick Mahomes and a team that's already 6-0 gets good, like better every single week. But I do think in the Chiefs' light, and I think it was the perfect move for them, honestly. And I do think we joked about it this offseason, how Tennessee brought a lot of these older players in. And I think in part it was some Band-Aids on some pieces that they knew they couldn't fix everything in one offseason. So they had some veteran guys that they're like, oh, we'll bring in these guys who can bring in this veteran leadership and maybe mentor some of these young guys. A guy like Will Levis, maybe make him look a little better, and it just didn't work. So they're hitting that let's get out of this right now button.
It's interesting because it feels like if you watch college football, you could have projected what was going to happen in Indianapolis and what was going to happen in Tennessee.
Yeah.
We watched Anthony Richardson at Florida, and he can make some big splash plays, but he didn't stay healthy, and he couldn't usually be able to manage the game well.
Yeah.
And then you've got Will Levis, who was terrible at Kentucky, and I was shocked that the Titans drafted him where they did in the first round. And now you have a quarterback who, again, he also can't stay healthy, but moreover, when he does play, he's terrible. Like it feels like GMs just are like, I'm just going to pick up some highlights. I'm not going to watch the full game to see what happens with these quarterbacks. But that's neither here nor there.
Like, this test they took on paper was really good. So
right, yeah. Although we know that CJ Stroud was his wonder look was terrible.
I think he Christmas treat his, but
probably because he knew he was also going to be the best quarterback of that draft class. Did you find the Ridley drop numbers?
I haven't found it just yet. I'm still looking. If any of our Heeligans out there on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures or the MyBookie Digital Studio have it handy, I know it was somewhere in the range of like a 33% or something like that. So if you do have that tweet handy or that stat, feel free to send it on over to us. The point being that Calvin Ridley has complained, yes, about his targets, but also, once again, drops have plagued him so far during his 7-game tenure in Nashville. Now, he will have a larger sample size, so to speak, because I would assume more targets will be coming his way now with no D-Hop, but it is certainly a situation where, yes, the emergence of Brian Thomas Jr. makes you feel like, wow, we really did it. If only through 7 weeks, we struck lightning twice in the same spot in which you allow Jawan Taylor to walk. You replace him with Anton Harrison on a cheaper deal. You allow Calvin Ridley to walk. You replace him with Brian Thomas Jr., who fits what you want to do more. And for what it's worth, has also been pretty good. I know he's had a couple drops, but has not dropped the football nearly as much as our friend up in Nashville.
Had, from what I can tell, only 3 drops this season as well.
Okay, but it's because of the sample size.
Numbers, yeah, but also it's funny because if you just go to Twitter and write Calvin Ridley drop, the first tweets that come are from this game on October 20th, and these are the first tweets that come up. Bruh, Calvin Ridley effing sucks. LMAO, $92 million just to drop the ball. The next one says, Calvin Ridley is what me and my boys used to call the receivers on Madden that would drop everything. Lettuce hands. The next one's like, inexcusable drop from Calvin Ridley. Can't blame the coach or the QB on that one. And I was like, Jags fans are just sitting here like, we told you.
We're sitting here like, thank goodness that Tennessee was offering more money because he would still be here. And we might not have Brian Thomas Jr.
Yeah.
And then the future of this franchise would not be on the same trajectory. Also, since we're on Patrick Mahomes, the run that he had against the 49ers, where he's towards the out of bounds line, he extends the ball to make it look like he's about to go out of bounds, trying to get the first down, and instead pulls the ball back in and still runs a few more yards. So 49ers, obviously, you can't tackle him when you think he's going out of bounds because you'll get a late flag, or you'll get a flag for a late hit. But he shouldn't be allowed to do that. No one should be able to fake that they're going out of bounds, just like once
fake
a quarterback slide, right? You can't have the fake slide either.
Yeah, I hate those. And there was a play a few weeks ago, I want to say I think it was against the Texans, actually, the Bears versus Texans game, when Caleb was running out and they hit him late. It was like one of the moments where, like, right when he stepped out, they hit him, and all of those fans' excuses were like, what if he faked it? Like, what if he came back in and kept running? that's why they shouldn't be able to do it, because then defensive players are hitting late. Some guys are getting injured when they shouldn't because these plays that shouldn't be happening are happening. Like if you are giving up, if you're giving on the play,
yourself up, yeah,
then you should be done. Like you shouldn't be able to take it back.
Right. No, I totally agree. And hopefully that they fix that. Like there should be a flag, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's even a penalty right
don't know
now
what
in the
you call
NFL
it.
rule book. Yeah, but you faked it. That's right. All right, we will continue the Jaguars Packers conversation and a whole lot more. You're listening to Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
He's our pathfinder through the weeds of quarterback chaos.
I'm Denny Thompson, and they call me the quarterback whisperer.
He shares his insights Friday mornings on The Drip. Brought to you by Tyson Sound and Security and George Moore Chevrolet on 1010XL.
Who has the best lineup this season? Honda. Cars, trucks, SUVs, vans, hybrids, and electric. This is one of the greatest lineups Honda has ever had. And now is the best time to purchase or lease one. Visit your local Honda dealer now. Remember, only a Honda is a Honda.
1 second left. Packers are down by 6 at the goal line. Your defense is the only thing stopping them from scoring. Is your team prepared? Double Check Cybersecurity has your back. With an AI-powered defense, start your 14-day trial at doublecheck.com.
Ready to sharpen your aim or find the perfect firearm? Come to St. Nicholas Guns and Range for our White Tag sales event. Up to 20% off all White Tag firearms all October. With a huge selection of guns, ammo, and gear, plus Jacksonville's best indoor range for every skill level, they've got what you need to hit your target. If you're a pro or just starting, their friendly experts will guide you at 4630 Planning Boulevard or online at stnickguns.com. St. Nicholas Guns and Range, gear up, shoot a lot, shoot better.
Mia here for my friends at MyBookie. Our listeners have been killing it in a year full of surprises, and MyBookie is the one book that has your back. No fluff, no second guessing, just straight up action. Does your other sports book pay out when you push on a bet? MyBookie pays you back. If you're new to the game and not sure where to start, we have you covered there too. Step 1, use our promo code 1010XL. That'll double your bankroll with a 100% deposit bonus right from the jump. Here's a pro tip to get you rolling. The NFL teams with powerhouse offensive lines are dominating the run game this year, and betting game total unders have been printing money. Stack that with MyBookie's Risk-Free Thursdays. Why wait? That's right there, a new risk-free odds boost each and every Thursday. Find the bet, click the Bet Boost tabs, and scroll down. If it hits, you win. If it doesn't, MyBookie refunds your money. Sign up now and get your double deposit bonus with promo code 1010XL. MyBookie, the best sign-up bonus for Florida bettors. Bet anything, anytime, from anywhere with MyBookie.
This right here is as good as it gets. This is life getting lived without obligations or complications. This is filling your cup and savoring the moment. This is the gift of presence, served to you in a place where there's room for everyone and enough to go around. And the best part, it's always Sonny's here. Sonny's Barbecue, local pitmasters since '68.
It's a Helmets and Heels Kingfish Pest Control Wednesday.
Grab your lucky spot on the couch, because traditions make Sunday easy to enjoy. Bud Light, easy to Sunday, easy to enjoy. Bud Light is the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus. Copyright 2024 Anheuser-Busch. Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
This is Mark Nato. My son Justin injured his hand playing baseball for JU. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists performed surgery just a few days later, and within 5 weeks, he was cleared to play in the ASUN baseball tournament. Our family has trusted Southeast Orthopedic Specialists for years. For any orthopedic injury, let Southeast Orthopedic Specialists take care of you too.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
What's the weekend in sports look like? I'm Dan Hicken, and I'll give you my take on The Weekend with Dan. Find it on YouTube and Facebook. Weekend with Dan, brought to you by Stone Core. We do outdoors better.
Don't make a bad call when it comes to servicing your home. Cooling off with a baby pool in the house to fix your air conditioning problem is a bad call. Trying to catch a wave in a flooded bathroom is a bad call. Using a burning electrical panel to make s'mores is a bad call. The next time something goes wrong, make a good call to Donovan.
Whether you need air, electric, or plumbing service, Donovan is always a good call. It's why we've been trusted by our customers for almost 40 years and why you can trust us to deliver fast, reliable service to your home. Donovan, always a good call.
Visit DonovanAC.com today.
Hello, this is Father Nicholas Lowe. I want to talk to you about picking the right battles to fight in this life. Every day, we have opportunities to get upset and angry. But I want you to realize that sometimes you have to ignore in this life so that you can soar into the kingdom of heaven. My encouragement, friends, to you is to pick the right battles to fight. Fight only battles that help you draw closer to God, because you have to ignore so that you can soar.
For more inspiration, log on to stjohnthedivine.com.
Have you tried golfing at the improved Cimarron Golf Club? If you haven't, tell you what, you're missing out on the best deal in Jacksonville. Now, many of you have received a postcard in the mail, and of course, if you bring that with you, $45 plus tax to play. That includes a cart, lunch, and a beer at the brand new Stone Barrel Tap House. Now, go to the website, that is CimarronGolfClub.com, and sign up for the Wild One Loyalty Program. That's the Wild One Loyalty Program, and get all of these specials emailed to you from Cimarron.
The Jaguars are back at Everbank Stadium to go head-to-head with the Green Bay Packers for our crucial catch game. Join us October 27th as we fight cancer through early detection, risk reduction, and awareness all game long. Lock in your tickets now by visiting jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. We'll see you there.
Hello, I'm Malcolm Anthony. I've been practicing criminal defense law for over 40 years. It's what I love to do, it's what I do well. Stay out of trouble, but if you don't, call me, Malcolm Anthony, at 285-4LAW. 285-4LAW for Malcolm Anthony.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
This is Helmets and Heels.
Kept classy by First Coast Lighting and Fans. Upscale lighting, fans, and home decor.
On 1010XL.
Before we truly dive into and inside the numbers of this Jaguars-Packers matchup, RJ, let's hit some news and notes from around the National Football League, please.
That just happened. Brought to you by Florida Home AC, the official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
This one, not much of a surprise. With Deshaun Watson done for the year in Cleveland, Jameis Winston will get the start. Kevin Stefanski meeting with reporters in Cleveland right now and says that the team will see how Dorian Thompson-Robinson's finger is in practice, but the expectation is that Jameis will start. Here is the surprise. Kevin Stefanski has announced that offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey will now call plays. Historically speaking, if there is a change in the play caller, Lauren, what does that typically signal?
That they're not happy with their offense.
Or are they not happy with the operation at large and the head coach? I don't believe less than a year removed from winning Coach of the Year, Kevin Stefanski is on the hot seat.
Yeah.
But this is curious to me because this does suggest that it wasn't all the quarterback in the estimation of the Browns operation at large.
I mean, yeah, or they're just trying to figure it out. I mean, they're like, hey, we feel like there's a lot of issues, and yes, Deshaun Watson was one, and not having Nick Chubb was one, and the offensive line not really playing well was one, but maybe they're just trying to find any solution. It will be interesting to see this offense, Ken Dorsey with Jameis Winston, and now obviously Nick Chubb being back, and see how it pans out. I mean, Ken Dorsey was fired from Buffalo because the offense wasn't working well with him, and you have Josh Allen. So I'm not quite sure how they expect this to be a massive step up, but this is an indication that they just feel like at this point they're trying to figure out whatever way to make the offense start doing something.
It also could mean that Ken Dorsey and Jameis maybe have a closer relationship, and so they have been able to work on the playbook a little bit differently than before, as far as with Deshaun and with Kevin Stefanski. So it could mean a lot of things. It also could mean next week Stefanski takes back the play calling and says, this is the direction we're going to go in. We just needed to try something. I mean, it's imploding in Cleveland, as we are well aware.
I mean, at least they talk about who is actually playing.
Well said, Taylor.
He's gotten there.
I just think it's interesting because I don't think I know that the sports betting market suggests differently, but I don't think he's on the hot seat. I think it was a byproduct of quarterback play, especially when the quarterback literally just walked off the field in Washington when Stefanski wanted to go for it on fourth down, and Watson all but was like, yeah, I'm done. I'm walking off. And Stefanski looks at him like, dude, like, run the play. Like, that to me says quarterback, not head coach. And since a couple of our Heeligans did text in, we'll also provide you with this news from around the league. C.J. Beathard has been signed to the Miami Dolphins practice squad. Obviously, he had a significant injury. I believe it was a groin injury. Correct me if I'm wrong, back in August during training camp with the Jaguars. Trent Baalke had told reporters in post-cut day availability that it would knock Beathard out for a minimum of 4 weeks. The Jags would have to wait 7 weeks to re-sign him if there was a need. They obviously do not, knock on wood, have the need at this juncture. The Miami Dolphins certainly do, in light of now an injury to Snoop Huntley against the Indianapolis Colts last week. Tim Boyle, he's been in Miami for 5 minutes. Now CJ's going to be in Miami for 5 minutes.
Goodness.
I still just can't get past the Dolphins' offensive operation without Tua looking the way that it does. I never would have imagined that he was the cog in that machine that kept everything rolling.
I mean, I guess good for Tua, because I feel like that's just been the argument of Mike McDaniel's offense is, like the way he play calls can work for any quarterback. And when you have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, like anybody can be successful in that. And Tua's just a product of what Mike McDaniel and those two wide receivers can do. And clearly that's not the case. Granted, the drop off was huge. It's not like you had a backup like Mac Jones, for example, that people feel confident in coming in. It was kind of, they didn't really invest and think about it very much, I feel like, which is odd. I mentioned that before, of you have a quarterback who's had several concussions and has battled with this through his career in both college and the NFL, and you didn't have a solid backup plan at quarterback is an interesting approach. But I do think that good for Tua, because this has been the conversation this whole offseason when it comes to his contract and when it comes to what the Miami Dolphins do with him. And this is the biggest indicator of you need Tua on the football field.
Yeah, if I was in the Miami organization, I would have been frustrated with this decision, or the decision that they made in the offseason, because of the fact that last year we saw so many starting quarterbacks be lost for the entire season.
Yeah.
A Justin Herbert, a Joe Burrow, Deshaun Watson, the list goes on. And so how could you not have a plan in place? By the way,
much so that they're made it to where teams can have a third quarterback,
right,
because so many quarterbacks have been getting hurt.
Exactly, which I think they started with COVID because of that.
Yeah. And then they just kept it because they're like, okay, it makes sense.
Well, especially after the 49ers NFC Championship
and Christian
game.
McCaffrey was
disaster.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Trevor Lawrence is meeting with media now. He said, I definitely feel like we have momentum. I feel like we played our best game as a team last Sunday. We just got to keep doing the things that got us here. I do feel like we've trusted our process, and also compliments the offensive line, which, of course, if I'm Trevor Lawrence, I'm taking those guys out to dinner at least once a week, thanks to the play that they've done the last few weeks. All right, so in terms of numbers for the Packers coming here to Jacksonville to play the Jaguars, the Packers are 5th on offense. They are 13th on defense, led by Jeff Hafley. Of course, Matt LaFleur calls the plays on offense. But here's the one number that the Jaguars can key in on. The Packers are 27th on special teams, led by Rich Bisaccia. So therefore, you've got to see a combination of Parker Washington having a big return again. You got to see, of course, good punting from Logan Cook, because you always do.
Yeah.
And good kicking from Cam Little. You always have that as well in his rookie season. That's the area that they have to exploit. I found it.
I'm fascinated that you went that route, Lauren. I think there's a much more obvious route. But hey, listen, I'll take it. And the special teams led by Heath Farwell have been absolutely demonic over his 2+ years here in Jacksonville, and it has been an area that you can rely on. I do think
demonic is a compliment.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Demonic is definitely a compliment. They play like their hair is on
That's
fire.
my favorite
They
type
play,
of movie.
They play with energy. It's Halloween. I can use that adjective. What I think is the much more obvious area for the Jaguars to exploit when it comes to the Green Bay Packers is in the run game.
Yep.
When it comes to run defense, that is the one area that Ryan or Rick Nielsen has been able to have success. I know it doesn't seem like it in the moment, but at this current juncture, the Jaguars' run defense is 6th best in the National Football League, giving up just 102.6 yards on the ground per game, which is obviously a very large number. You'd love to keep it below the century mark, but I digress. I bring that up to say that Josh Jacobs is currently 4th in the National Football League in rushing yards per game. At the same time, if that is a strength of the Jaguars, then I think that they should truly, as Doug Peterson said when I asked him earlier this morning, they truly need to lean into taking away and dedicating as many resources as possible to stopping the run. Now, does that certainly open up opportunities for the 6-headed monster in the pass game between the 2 tight ends, the 4 wide receivers that the Green Bay Packers have? undoubtedly. Yeah. But at the same time, if you can make them one-dimensional, and in turn, because you're creating push and stopping them along the front in the run game, can you get a little bit of push in the pass rush department that in turn will help you on the back end? And that is something that Doug also talked about this morning.
Yeah, I think it is interesting when it comes to Green Bay's run game because when you go through, and he had a massive game week 2 against the Colts, 151 yards he rushed for that game, and that was by far the largest game. Beyond that, it's been 76, 62, 73, 51, 43, 84 week 1. I think a lot of those mid games were because it was Malik Willis, and they knew they couldn't really pass the ball much, so they relied heavily on what Josh Jacobs can do in both the receiving and obviously running the ball. So it will be interesting how much they push that because I think that in previous games, especially going back to last year, it was a very pass-heavy offense because they were able to, because they have so many guys to get the ball to. And I was reading a stat earlier talking about all 3 of their receivers are in like the high top end of separation rate in the league and like the EPA per target, like all 3 of their wide receivers, just because they're all really good. And we talked about it. They're not ones that you're putting up there with like Justin Jefferson and all of the top wide receivers, Jamar Chase, any of those guys, but they just can all do very different things, which makes their offense so dangerous. But I do think when you go back and you look in the games that the Packers have lost this year, with Jordan Love, by the way, Malik Willis was able to kind of win when he needed to win because they relied on the run so much. But when they weren't able to run the ball and when a team was able to at least limit it, that's the games that the Packers have lost. So I do think, and I kind of pointed to that yesterday, that on both sides of the ball, I do think that being able to stop the run for the Packers or slow it down, and then also being able to run the ball on the Packers are the 2 key things in addition to obviously pressuring Jordan Love.
And that to me, takeaways, because Jordan Love has had games where he can give the ball up or give the ball away multiple times. And so can the Jaguars get that consistent pressure? We've seen Josh Hines Allen and Trayvon Walker certainly get some pressure, but can they get enough pressure to where the quarterback feels like he's bothered off his spot? That's where I feel like we haven't quite seen the pass rush get to because the defensive tackles hadn't played well until Sunday.
That's the key. The key is, and this was the problem all last season, can you get enough interior push to give those 2 guys on the edge an opportunity? I guess multiple guys along the edge because we know it's a hockey shift rotation. When Devon Hamilton was playing at his peak during the run at the end of 2022, yes, he's not necessarily the one getting to the quarterback, but by creating that interior push, both he and Roy Robertson Harris playing on the inside were able to open up opportunities for Josh Hines Allen. They were able to open up opportunities for Trayvon Walker. They were able to open up opportunities for design blitzes coming off the edge, which I know is a thing of the past in this town outside of maybe 1 or 2 plays this past week. And I would love to see that, but you only have the opportunity to execute that play if you are also creating a significant enough push from the inside. And so that is why I've seen so many of you Heeligans on Twitter, on the MyBookie Digital Studio, clamoring Eric Armstead needs to start at 3-tech. I'm okay with maybe on first down, you try him out, rotate him on the edge, and it's a different look. But yes, on your money downs, on 3rd down, especially on 3rd and long, he needs to be on the inside.
I just realized the hockey shift rotations even extend to who's active and inactive.
Correct.
Because each week you have different guys. Mason Smith, is he active this week? I say yes.
Probably, yeah.
I say yes because he was
it's
inactive
like every 3rd game at this point. It's like how they're doing it.
Yeah,
and I guess they're just waiting for somebody to flash. And once that person says, all right, I'm the 3rd or 4th guy, like here you are, you can't take me off the field. But until then, they're just going to keep rotating that too.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this week definitely is a test for all around the Jaguars on almost every single front that you can talk about. But I do think that defensive line, because Patriots have, in most rankings, the 32nd offensive line in the league, and the Packers have 4th, 5th best offensive line in the league. So this is a massive difference of what you are going against up front. And so I think this is are they actually improving, or was it just because you were going against some really bad offensive linemen? But you have to start improving because a lot of these teams that you are facing coming up, including guys like the Detroit Lions, we're talking about the Packers, the Lions, the Vikings, all of these teams have good offensive lines. And so you have some tests coming up, and if you can't handle it, if you look like you just got lucky last week because of the matchup, then it's going to be a long second half of the season.
Yes, certainly. It's going to be a long second half of the season.
Either way.
Unless they win on Sunday is what it
Yeah.
feels like. Honestly, it starts right away. All right, Mitch Morse, the center, and Darnell Savage, a safety, met with media yesterday. I want you to hear from them, and we will keep the NFL conversation going. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and Ackerman Cancer Center offers women's health, diagnostic, and screening services, including contract-enhanced mammography and total body MRI. Early detection is the key. Visit AckermanCancerCenter.com.
We've all heard the saying, go big or go home, right? Well, I've got a new spin on it, and that goes a little something like this. Go epic and save big, and then you can go home in a brand new Toyota from Arlington Toyota. Mia here, and it's the Epic Lease Savings Event, and it's going on now at Arlington Toyota. Right now at Arlington, you can save big and lease a new 2024 Corolla LE for only $89 a month, or save big and lease a new 2025 Camry SE for only $129 per month. Need an SUV? Lease a new 2024 RAV4 XLE for only $199 per month. Our friends at Arlington even have Epic Lease savings on trucks, like a new 2024 Tundra lease for only $299 per month or a new 2024 Tacoma lease for only $269 per month. You can always count on Arlington's lot to be packed with new Toyotas. Folks, this is one Epic Lease savings event. Don't wait. Shop in person, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online anytime at arlingtontoyota.com.
This is Keith Scott with Veterans Wholesale Cabinets. We are Northeast Florida's cabinet experts and your best option to elevate your home improvement project for both homeowners and contractors, and attention to detail to every project. VeteransWholesaleCabinets.com.
Discover luxury storage life at The Shed, opening soon in Atlanta Beach, for a place to store your cars, boats, and toys. A place for an office, a golf simulator, or a man cave. AC and plumbing available. The list of premium uses is endless. Take a tour on Instagram or go to theshedjacks.com.
Mia here. When I was buying a new construction home last summer, there was no question. Dreamfinders Homes was the builder for me. A big reason why, they're unbeatable interest rates. Right now, you can take advantage of a 2.99% year one rate. Find your dream home, take advantage of unbeatable rates, and move in today. I'll say it again, 2.99% year one rate. Dreamfinders Homes, the official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Kingfish Pest Control Wednesday.
Helmets and Heels.
Meet Dennis, talking about his experience with BioTarget regenerative therapy at injury care centers.
My first treatment, I actually felt a great improvement. It actually allowed me to dress myself by increasing the range of motion in my shoulder. I did physical therapy for approximately 8 weeks, and it did not help in increasing the range of motion in my shoulder. I've told many people about the results that I had. I thought it was incredible. I'm very active. I do play a lot of golf, I fish a lot, I hunt, I bowl, and it just made it a lot easier with less pain. The pain is more manageable, yes. I don't take medications.
Stop masking your pain with harmful medications. There's a better solution. BioTarget regenerative therapy has helped countless others, and it can help you too. Call 904-92-REGEN or visit gobiotarget.com today.
In its final year, we encourage you to help create great futures for young people when you run or walk at Mackenzie's Run, Saturday, November 23rd. Join Boys and Girls Club of Northeast Florida for a 5K and 1 mile fun run through the beautiful stadium course at TPC Sawgrass. Enjoy food, live music, face painting, family fun, and more at our Runners Village. Register at MacKenziesRun.org. Mackenzie's 5K and Fun Run, November 23rd. MacKenziesRun.org.
If you're looking for the best in indoor air quality, I've got the experts to call. Florida Home AC, the official AC provider of the Jaguars, specializing in the best air quality for your home or work with the Remy Halo. Instead of waiting for pollutants to travel through the ductwork to be neutralized, the Halo cell releases friendly oxidizers every time your fan blows air, helping those in your home that suffer from allergies and other respiratory issues. Call 777-4300 for Florida Home AC and start enjoying cool comfort and clean air.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On October 23, 2000, in a Monday Night Miracle, the New York Jets pulled together an improbable comeback with 4 touchdowns and field goal in the fourth quarter, beating the Miami Dolphins in overtime.
Daily
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval Sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Get Gators play-by-play on 1010XL. Brought to you by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And Renewal by Anderson, custom windows and doors. Proud partner of the Florida Gators.
Attention skilled electricians. Are you undervalued at your current company? Time to step up to the bigger projects and better opportunities. Join the team at Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering not just a job, but an experience, top-notch pay, unbeatable benefits, and the best working environments in the business. Please join the team that values your skills and rewards your hard work. Elevate your career to new heights. Apply today at millercareers.com, an equal opportunity employer.
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, head team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jags, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
On Tuesday, the Jaguars put linebacker Foye Oluokun and safety Andrew Wingard on the designated to return list, opening up their 21-day practice window. Jaguars head coach Doug Peterson on the chances of Oluokun or Wingard playing on Sunday.
Good. It just means that we've opened their window and they can practice now with the team and not on the side with the trainer. So we'll see each day how they do, how they, get back out there and do more football, movement. If it looks good, great. If not, we go another week and see next week.
Peterson with the latest on Oluokun and Wingard. I'm Andrew Gibson with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars Update.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Helmets and Heels is switched on by
First Coast Lighting and Fans.
Upscale lighting, fans, and home decor on 1010XL.
In the Jaguars' 32-16 victory over the Patriots, they ran the ball 17 times in a row, spanning 2 different drives. Of course, the bulk of those carries being Tank Bigsby, but a lot of those Dearness Johnson as well. So we've talked about it. What is the Jaguars' identity on offense? What should it be? Taylor, you want it to be run first. Mia, you want it to be run to set up the pass. Do I have those correct?
Wait, what's Taylor versus me?
Taylor's
mine's technically the same because I just feel like once you start running, but I do think that at this point in time, the offense is better when they do run the ball a little bit more or consecutive times in a row, but kind of same gist.
No, I think Taylor and I are both on the same. Yeah.
It opens so much opportunities for Trevor when you do get the ground game going.
Right. And I think this idea of you pass to score, you run to win, which is a hallmark of Doug Peterson, Press Taylor, the offensive scheme that they want to run. It's all fine and good until you recognize the fact that when Trevor Lawrence was at Clemson, he had the ACC's all-time leading rusher, and he had a very strong run game. And I think that's a storyline that we have neglected over the last 5 years as to why he became a generational talent. So that's why I think it needs to be more balanced, and you need to run the ball first and foremost because that's what allows him to do what he does best. And what's crazy, and I know Taylor and I were joking off the air that nobody watched that second Monday Night Football game on this past Monday because
did people
it was
know there was a
on
second
ESPN Plus. I was not surprised last week in prepping for last Thursday's Duval Rundown show. I was not surprised to see that Justin Herbert is last in the National Football League in total dropbacks, given how much Jim Harbaugh wants to run the ball. And I think that's why you haven't heard a lot about Justin Herbert because, quite frankly, if you look at his treasure trove or lack thereof of wide receivers,
given they gave away all his weapons.
Folks, if you want to laugh, Google Chargers depth chart and just look at their wide receivers and tight ends because it is quite the situation out there. But they obviously have a couple of very capable running backs. They are building an offensive line. And I believe in the long term, that's the best thing for that quarterback who, like Trevor Lawrence, is blessed with God-given ability that most human beings don't have. But by easing the load for him, that's not to say you're dumbing the offense down or going away from the quarterback. Look at what Jared Goff is doing in Detroit. this is how you maximize the skill set, by making a multidimensional offense.
And what is my preferred identity on offense? Y'all are run to pass.
You want to chuck the ball downfield.
You want to get it to BTJ.
I want it to. That's the ding thing. I want to get it to BTJ. I don't care if it's all the way down the field. It doesn't have to constantly be deep passes. I think they've got to target him more. But yesterday, Mitch Morse, Jaguars center, was asked, "Is run heavy who the Jaguars offense wants to be?"
You'd like to say that after that game, but every game and dictates a new game plan, right? And sometimes in game dictates certain things, right? Like it turned into staying ahead of the chains through running the ball. That's just what happened, and then taking shots. And I don't totally know. We'll find out. It'd be easier to tell you in January and February how this is going to play out.
I love that, the January, February part.
Oh, look, Mitch, does press know that in game you can change things if it's working or not working, and game by game you can alter what your offense is doing more or less? Mitch knows, like, clearly he could have easily been, especially after this last week, been like, yeah, like that's what's working. You know, our offensive line plays really well in run blocking situations. Tank's been a tank, and it feels like it's opening up opportunities for Trevor. And he could have easily been like, yes, let's run the ball. But instead he was like, I mean, yeah, but also you have to change things as you're playing different opponents.
And obviously they were able to do the 17 consecutive runs because they were up by 2 digits or double digits, 2 scores. You're not going to be able to do that probably against the Packers.
You're down 2, you're not running 17 straight.
Right. I don't envision the Jaguars being up by 2 scores against the Packers, but it could happen.
But if you're down 2 scores and it's the second quarter, I do think
don't stop running the ball.
You should
keep leaning into it.
Correct,
yes.
And I think that
if it's working,
right. If it's working and you're down 2 scores, yes, that certainly would suggest, oh my goodness, it's going to take us longer to get downfield. That's okay.
Yeah,
you got a whole half of football to play, which is why I asked Doug Peterson this morning about not only the play caller but the entire offensive staff being disciplined when it comes to saying, you know what. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Let's just keep running the ball, even if it is for 17 straight carries.
I don't know if it's much of a conversation as it is just what we're seeing. You're seeing 4 yards, 6 yards, 12 yards, 15 yards, a run. There's not a lot of conversation that needs to take place. You know what I'm saying? And you're feeling the excitement of the offense on the field. Quite frankly, there is no dialogue in those moments. It's just kind of what you're seeing in game.
Right, because they were able to get chunk yards on a lot of those runs, and you're not necessarily always going to see that. But I think what for me, I want this offense to be also is unpredictable. I don't want us to be able to go, all right, here we go, run, pass, 3 and out.
But they're not going
run,
to
pass,
be.
3 and out.
They're not going to be
unpredictable.
No, they're not going to just run the ball. Like, that's, trust me. Trust me. I had my brother-in-law texting me this morning asking if my sister and he should be trading Travis Etienne. And I said, absolutely not, because the play caller loves what Travis Etienne can do. Yes, they are going to have to run the ball a bit more because that is when their offense is operating at peak efficiency. But just as much as Press Taylor loves Travis Etienne, he also loves to throw the ball. Yeah. He loves a good bubble screen. Ask Pete Prisco. He'll tell you all about it. I can assure you they are not going to abandon the passing game.
Yeah.
I can guarantee you that.
And she was just talking about more of the predictability side of it because there are offense, and let's say this offense in the first 3-4 weeks especially was very predictable. And opposing defenses and opposing media was talking about that. Like, you knew what the Jags were going to do. And so you don't want to be that, okay, you know on first and second downs you're running, and you know that if they're in the third and long, Trevor's going to launch it to BTJ. And you don't want it to come to that point where everybody knows what your offense is doing. I also, when we're talking about not abandoning the run, even when maybe it isn't going as well as you thought, because you have to push through that sometimes. Maybe it takes a couple drives to get that run game going and kind of wear down that defensive line. That has been circumstances too across the league. And we saw it too much early on in this season and late last season. Granted, late last season, I think it was Etienne was beat up. He was playing with like broken ribs or whatever it was, and he just could not be on. You couldn't put too much on him, so it was late in games where you weren't seeing it as much. But early this season, when you were seeing flashes of the offense playing well, we talked about it. I'm trying to remember which game, Miami, week 1 or 2, when it was like Tank went off of first, and then we saw him one time in the second half.
Miami.
Yeah. And so those, you don't want to see that. You don't want them to see, because maybe if Trevor is having a really good game, just because of that completely abandoning your run game.
Yeah, when I say unpredictable, Trevor spreading the ball around is the key to me, especially. Yes, I want them to target Brian Thomas Jr. because I think he's a guy that creates more separation than anyone we've seen here in a long time. But you've got Evan Ingram, who is a tried and true tight end who can help you across the middle, although the Packers are really good in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
So that is one thing where the Jaguars play calling is going to have to shift a little bit, or at least the playbook, to be a little bit more outside this week specifically. All right, let's get it to the defensive side of the ball. Darnell Savage met with media yesterday, and I feel like this is an obvious answer or an obvious question as far as does the pass rush help the secondary? Because we all know the answer is yes. But just exactly how much does it help the secondary?
We talk about it all the time, just rushing coverage, working together. We got to cover just long enough for them to get home. And, they got to rush fast enough for us not to cover too long. So just working together, and it's not always going to be perfect. They're not always going to get back there. But, right now it seems like they're getting back there a good amount. So it's good. Those are some big, strong dudes, so it's kind of scary for a quarterback. You back there trying to go through a read or make a read or whatever. You got those guys trying to bring you down. So we really enjoyed having them rushing the way they've been rushing.
It's a chicken or the egg question.
Mm-hmm.
Are you covering because, you're great at coverage versus, well, it's easier to hold up in the back end for 3 or 4 seconds as opposed to 6 or 7 seconds when the quarterback is dancing around in the pocket and no one's actually getting home.
And to my point last segment of this Packers offensive line, that is going to test the defense in total, because not only is it going to be more difficult for the defensive line to get to Jordan Love and get past those offensive linemen, but now some of those guys that have struggled in coverage in moments are going to have to cover longer and cover more of the field. And you're going against, like I said, multiple weapons who can be in all over the field. And that's their biggest strength in Green Bay. And we have Peter Bukowski coming on tomorrow to talk the Packers. He works
on Friday,
on Friday on Locked On Packers. And so I sat in with him yesterday and we talked about that. We talked about obviously the reunion of Darnell Savage and just some of those things, but also how the Packers there's a few things that they've just been able to do over and over again. And we talk about the quarterback a lot, but the offensive line is another thing. There's been very few years where the Packers haven't had a top 5 offensive line. And that is a testament to how well also they've been able to develop the quarterbacks.
Yeah, it was interesting hearing Doug Peterson say how blessed the Packers have been with the quarterback situation, because obviously it's true. And so, we focus on so many different things when it comes to these matchups, but certainly Jordan Love was able to sit and learn for a while. And I do think that that's one of the biggest reasons as to why, he's able to come out and play such good football early on. The Packers went to the NFC Championship game last year, with a very young
they went
quarterback.
to the divisional round.
Divisional round. Yeah. Still, they made it to the second round of the playoffs with a quarterback who is, I say young. He's not experienced. He's not that young anymore.
Yeah. Before we continue this conversation, RJ, I do want to hit at that as we do monitor the NFL trade market.
That just happened. Brought to you by Florida Home AC, the official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
So by now, you probably have heard that the Tennessee Titans have moved DeAndre Hopkins to the Kansas City Chiefs. That brought them to 7 draft picks in 2025, including 1 conditional 4th, 5th round pick, another 5th round pick, another 4th round pick. Now they have traded Ernest Jones IV, Waycross native, correct me if I'm wrong, the linebacker who they acquired.
Just got this offseason.
Right, exactly, this offseason, for linebacker Jerome Baker, who was previously with the Seattle Seahawks. The Seattle Seahawks are also sending another 4th round pick to Tennessee. So that could bring 3 4th round picks to Nashville for the 2025 NFL draft. We know that Trent Baalke likes to collect 6th round picks here in Jacksonville. He also likes to do business with that Seattle pipeline. Now, evidently, so is Rand Carthen, and they are collecting and perhaps stockpiling picks in the 2025 NFL draft, which, of course, Jordan Reed of ESPN noting that they could be in the quarterback market as well. And so that's where I wouldn't go as far as to say that the Jaguars are entering fire sale mode. I do think there's another team in the AFC South that certainly has.
In other NFL news, Taylor, I'm sure you've seen this. Jaden Daniels will not practice today due to his rib injury. Marcus Mariota is trending towards getting the start on Sunday, so the Commanders take on the Bears. That's why, obviously, you would have seen that, which I'm going to be bummed if we don't get to see the 2 rookie stars compete against each other.
It kind of does. It's like that game. They flexed that game to 4 because it was like Jaden versus Caleb, and then now it's going to be Marcus Mariota versus Caleb, maybe. So it'll be interesting. But I think you saw him come in last week, and the offense honestly didn't look any different. They still put up a ton of points. Yeah, but they haven't played. They have played the Ravens, who have one of the worst secondaries in the league the week before, and so people still are kind of. It's not like Jaden's played these teams that have like these crazy good secondaries or anything like that, and so it was probably Jaden's biggest test. There's like a conspiracy on Twitter too that like, oh, convenient, his biggest test of the year, and he can't play. But we will see. I mean, I think that it is kind of a bummer. They'd probably take back that flex if they knew that Jaden wasn't.
I think it speaks though to the infrastructure.
Unflex. That's what I'm saying of Washington.
Yeah. That's the reclamation project of not only Dan Quinn, but of Cliff Kingsbury. That's a storyline I didn't see coming. And look, Lauren was the only one bold enough to put the Commanders in her playoff prediction in the preseason. I was afraid. I had some people telling me they're going to be better than you think. I had some people telling me, that offensive line, that defensive line, I'm not so sure.
Yeah.
Credit to what they've done in Washington. I believed in Dan Quinn's second act. I wasn't so sure about Cliff Kingsbury.
Yeah.
But man, oh man, has he proved us wrong.
I had them as my biggest surprise team of the NFL. Like, I had a feeling they were going to be. And I think a lot of that was a testament to Jaden Daniels, and I thought he was actually going to be a good quarterback. I also feel like that's the freedom of when you get rid of someone terrible like Dan Snyder. Maybe it like opened up that everyone's like, okay, here's your good karma back.
That's what the Panthers now need to do is get rid of David Tepper, and maybe they'll be good again. All right, when we return, we've got me as my bookie picks. Keep it right here on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Get the coach's perspective.
Constant improvement, every day, every week.
Doug Peterson joins the Frangie Show Fridays at 4:05.
This group is eager to win.
Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors on 1010XL. Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
Hey guys, Taylor Dahl here of Helmets and Heels. Are you looking for a remix on the original Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich? The Honey Pepper Pimento Chicken Sandwich is a flavorful spin on a familiar favorite, created with a Chick-fil-A filet, a drizzle of honey, pickled jalapenos, and a spread of savory pimento cheese. The Honey Pepper Pimento Chicken Sandwich combines your favorite flavors with a twist. And this year, it's back with a bite with a spicy filet option. Available for a limited time only, so stop by and enjoy one today at your local Chick-fil-A restaurant.
Mia here for MyBookie. Our listeners have been killing it in a year full of surprises. MyBookie is the one book that has your back. No fluff, no second guessing, just straight up action. Does your other sports book pay out when you push on a bet? MyBookie pays you back. And if you're new to the game and not sure where to start, we have you covered. Step 1, use our promo code 1010XL. That'll double your bankroll with a 100% deposit bonus right from the jump. Here's a pro tip to get you rolling. The NFL teams with powerhouse offensive lines are dominating the run game this year, and betting game total unders has been printing money. Stack that with MyBookie's risk-free Thursdays. Why wait? That's right there, a new risk-free odds boost each and every Thursday. To find the bet, click the Bet Boost tab and scroll down. If it hits, you win. If it doesn't, MyBookie refunds your money. Sign up now and get your double deposit bonus with promo code 1010XL. MyBookie, the best sign-up bonus for Florida bettors. Bet anything, anytime, from anywhere with MyBookie.
We've spent a lot of time in our homes. I'm on a Zoom call.
Dinner's ready.
But we've learned that when we love our home, it loves us right back. Now you can keep that love going when you install energy-efficient natural gas appliances and earn up to $1,925 in cash rebates. You'll love endless hot water, faster drying and cooking times, and ongoing savings and comfort. To learn more and how to qualify, visit peoplesgas.com/rebates.
When you need a plumber,
call Duck Duck Rooter.
When you need your septic tank pumped out,
call Duck Duck Rooter.
When you need any septic or plumbing issue fixed right the first time,
call Duck Duck Rooter.
Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing and Septic Services. DuckDuckRooter.com.
A no-risk, all-rewards path to real weight loss. If you're not happy with your Awaken 180 results in the first week, get 100% of your money back. No risk, but every reward. With the solution for weight loss, Awaken180weightloss.com.
It's Helmets and Heels, Kingfish Pest Control Wednesday.
When storms start to crop up in the Atlantic or Gulf this time of year, having a solid plan to handle anything that sweeps through the first coast is very important. That's where American Electrical comes in. Ensure your home's safety and comfort with an American Electrical home generator. As the area's leading home generator dealer and installer, American Electrical can offer you easy installation, simple maintenance, and peace of mind. Schedule an assessment by simply calling the team at American Electrical. They'll walk you through the best generator for your home or business. Log on, american-electrical.com.
Find your why with membership at the First Coast YMCA. The Y has something for everyone at any age. Come try free access to your local Y every Wellness Wednesday this month. Check out our fitness classes, swimming, pickleball, youth sports, and so much more for free every Wednesday in October. Plus, we'll waive the join fee when you become a member this month. Get active, be social, live healthier, and discover all the benefits of YMCA membership at your local Y or visit fcymca.org.
Welcome to ABS Advanced Business Solutions, your local authorized technology partner and home to Xerox copiers.
Advanced Business Solutions. Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
It only takes a drop of water to cause someone to slip and fall, but it takes a lot more to prove that your injuries were the result of negligence. The store said the floor was dry. Our investigators learned that on the day of the accident, it had been raining.
So the next time it rained, we went back. And guess what? Rainwater was dripping from the ceiling exactly where our client was injured. When you're in for the fight of your life, investigators with 30 years of experience is a good thing. Farah and Farah, Jacksonville.
Hidden Hills Golf Club invites you to come out and experience one of the most beautiful and unique golf courses in North Florida. Affordable golf, friendly service, and great times in the Hills Grill after play. Book your tee time, hiddenhillsgc.com.
Hey gang, Prosser here, telling you once again about Chad and Sandy Newman. Mortgage rates are down, creating more active buyers and sellers. If you've been waiting, now is a great time to sell your home before more homes flood the market, driving down prices. So maybe you want guaranteed no-hassle home sale, but don't want to give up hard-earned equity to do it. They can handle that. You see, Chad and Sandy can take every problem you think you have and replace it with a promise. Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. The success stories are rolling in. Mike and Lisa in McCormick. We inherited a family home that came with equity but also a mortgage. We needed to sell fast to avoid extra expenses on a second mortgage. We heard about Chad and Sandy on the radio and called. Everything they say on the radio is true. The home sold in 3 days for full asking price. Call Chad and Sandy today, 904-414-6200, or go to chadandsandy.com. That's Chad, ANDSANDY.com.
This is Molly McDonald with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Local Sports Update, brought to you by First Coast Honda Dealers. With college basketball quickly approaching, the Gators enter the season ranked inside the AP Top 25 at number 21. Head coach Todd Golden spoke to the media yesterday on his team's goals for the season.
The starting point and long-term goals are two completely different things. Now the expectations are higher. That's a good thing. You want that when you're good. Your expectations are going to be high, but we got to continue to get better, and by the end of the year, our goal is to finish higher than 21st and 22nd.
Locally, the UNF men's basketball had their media day yesterday, with head coach Driscoll taking the stand, speaking on the experience they have on the roster going into the season.
We have 5 of our 6 returners who have all played and started almost 20 games in their college career. So we've got a lot of experience, and that's exciting for us because we understand in this league, experience is critical.
The Ospreys tip off against South Carolina for their season opener on November 4th. It's 80 degrees at 1 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Light up your lunch with Helmets and Heels.
Presented by First Coast Lighting and Fans.
On 1010XL.
Mia O'Brien, Taylor Dahl, RJ Saunders. I'm Lauren Brooks with you on this Wednesday afternoon. You ready to make people some money?
Let's do it, Lauren.
Now, Mia's midday MyBookie picks. Experience the Vegas thrill from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere, only with MyBookie.
How did last week go?
Did
we improve upon 1 and 4?
No, we are still 1 and 4. But we start our midweek action on Wednesday this week, folks. Maybe that is the cure that we needed. I'm also going to take a favorite in the college football ranks as we kick off this week's MyBookie midweek picks. Of course, head on over to mybookie.ag and use promo code 1010XL when you sign up for a double deposit bonus. And don't forget, risk-free Thursdays, folks. Let's begin with tonight's slate. A pair of games. The Liberty Flames taking on a new football program of sorts, at least at the Division I level in Kennesaw State. I'm going to ignore that game, though, and I'm going to head to a showdown between two programs that Florida State fans and Miami Hurricane fans know all too well. Middle Tennessee and Jacksonville State. Folks, Jacksonville State, the last 3 times out, has scored 44, 63, and 54 points, respectively. That included hanging 63 on the aforementioned Kennesaw State Owls, who Middle Tennessee could only manage to score 14 points on a week ago. That is why I love our friends, the Gamecocks in Alabama. Yes, Jacksonville State is in Alabama, minus 20.5. Keeping it moving. I looked at Thursday's lines. I was a little interested with Georgia Southern Old Dominion. We saw Old Dominion nearly take it to South Carolina in their 2024 opener. That's a 2-point spread right now. It's a little too rich for my blood. Instead, I'm going to head on over to the ACC. Syracuse at Pitt. Pitt is, of course, 6-0, coming off of their bye last week. They will, of course, now play a Thursday night game, so not so much short rest for them because, obviously, they played on October 12th, their last game. They just escaped the clutches of Cal at home, 17-15. Syracuse, after being the darling so early, only has 1 loss on their record. That is a Friday, weird, funky 26-24 loss to Stanford midway through the month of September. They are also on a 3-game win streak. They are also coming off of their bye and an impressive 24-17 win on the road at NC State. They have been on the road for each of their past 2 games and gotten it done. Not so sure they will at Pitt, but I do think they cover a 6-point spread. The Kyle McCord revenge tour continues. So let me throw in Syracuse +6 into that parlay. How about a little NBA action? RJ Saunders already got some flack from some hosts who will remain nameless here at 1010XL for wearing his Orlando Magic sweatshirt today. It's the Battle of Florida tonight between the Magic and the Heat as the NBA season officially gets underway across the league. I do like the Magic +2. I was once upon a time taught to never bet against Eric Spoelstra. RJ, I'm going to lean on your knowledge for this one. Orlando Magic +2, what say you?
I absolutely like it. So I do believe that they're going to come out with a hunger and a fire. I do believe that there's a lot of people within the national media that still don't quite believe in this team. I feel like they shocked the world beginning tonight against the Miami Heat.
And Jalen Suggs, fresh off that contract extension, out here trying to show Spoelstra. You guys play defense down in Miami. We do it in the Big O, too. So give me the Magic +2. And finally, this is where MyBookie, folks, you have to explore their website. Again, mybookie.ag. You can make parlays. You can have quick bets, the ones that they've created for you. I am going to turn, despite Mike Dempsey's best wishes, I am going to turn to Game 1 of the World Series on Friday. I am not picking a winner. We're going to have some fun with it. Give me Shohei Ohtani +200 anytime scorer via a home run. He has to have at least 1 home run. That's +200. And I parlay that prop quick bet and multi-leg parlay with Juan Soto +300 anytime home run hitter. So we throw all that together, and in the pot, I know that parlay, $100 for a +200 for Shohei Ohtani and a +300 Juan Soto parlayed together would pay out at about $1,200, a +1,100 mark. And that's in addition to the 3-game parlay, which is +600, all totaled together on MyBookie right now. Again, promo code 1010XL. Get in on the action, folks. And don't forget risk-free Thursdays. You bet, you don't hit, they will refund your money.
We had an FSU fan reach out to our graphic that we posted yesterday from our college football segment of each of us picking a surprise, a disappointment, and then our Heisman, and we went in different orders for each one. So nobody got to go first every time or last every time. And someone was like, Lauren wins with FSU being the biggest disappointment. I was like, well, I got to go first.
Yeah, that was the easy one.
I guarantee that had Mia gone first or had Taylor gone first, they also would have selected FSU.
Just like our friend Cole Thompson texted me. He's like, great job picking Indiana as the biggest surprise. I go, I went first, Cole.
Because he does SEC Unfiltered, obviously. So he messaged me too and was like, you each won one. And I was like, what did we win? And he was like, I think each of your first picks. And I was like, well, that makes sense. And I was like, So you pick Indiana and Florida State and Genty, and he was like, heck yeah. I was like, okay, well, at least we got that.
I think the Genty storyline is one that has been, as far as just one player, that's probably the biggest surprise.
Yeah.
I don't have the odds in front of me of the Heisman contenders before the season started, but I would have to imagine that Ashton Genty would have been, below 50th?
Yeah.
Like, you would have all the quarterbacks, obviously, some of the receivers in there, too.
And that's what, when we started doing that segment yesterday before, I was like, are we picking teams or people for these things? Because obviously that could be something. Maybe we can do that later at the end of the season, like our biggest surprise player, because I don't know, would people say DJ Uiagalelei, the way the season has gone, would be a surprise? Like, would that have been a disappointment, or would it have been, and I don't know, because I think some people thought that that's who DJ was. What players do you look at this season? I think Genty would be one of the more surprised guys, especially when you're looking at where he is on the Heisman. And then you have guys like a Cam Rising who's disappointed. And I know obviously injuries factored into that. I would even put, and it's gotten better the last few weeks, but from what everybody was talking about Riley Leonard, and even he wasn't at the top of Heisman odds, but he was definitely in the chatter of, oh, hey, Notre Dame finally got this quarterback, and it's taken a while to get anything going. So we'll see how the rest of the season goes, but there's a lot of specific names you could go in college football that have surprised, disappointed also.
Yeah, I'm looking at a long list, and his name's not anywhere on it. So as far as Ashton Genty. Yeah, and of course, it is Boise State, so that's part of the award,
they have
too.
running backs? Because I feel like you also don't see a ton of running backs on it anyways.
Right. I'll look to see if there are any other running backs on there. But at the end of the day, I feel like DJ Uiagalelei was in the Heisman odds preseason.
I feel like there's always one quarterback that you're like, oh yeah, he's definitely like a preseason. Like Spencer Rattler once upon a time was expected to go number 1 overall, and he lost his job before the halfway point of the season to Caleb Williams.
Yeah. Would you think that some people would put Carson Beck as in the disappointment?
No. I think that, well, especially in light of what we just saw this past weekend, which I know he threw 3 picks, but like, he won the football game. Yeah. I mean, he's a disappointment in that maybe he's not going to get a trip to New York for the Heisman, but his team is at this juncture on track to make the college football playoff and return and have as good a shot as anybody to win it all. Yeah. And so, I mean, I'm sure if you asked Carson too, Carson would tell you, as long as the team's winning, whatever.
And that's what I wonder, like taking the team out of it, just because Carson was like a Heisman favorite. He was even talked about being drafted first overall.
He still could, by the way.
Things. Yeah, because of this quarterback class. But I was just wondering, and that's what I think it's a conversation that maybe some Bulldogs fans are having, because I've talked to some of the ones I know, and some are thinking they're winning in spite of him in certain situations, honestly. But we'll see. Like, we've seen moments where Carson's looked really, really good, and then we see games where he turns the ball over too many times. So as the season goes on, and especially college football playoff time, when does he turn up that next level?
Here are the running backs. Ollie Gordon, of course, for Oklahoma State, and then USC's Jaden Maiva. Ohio State actually had 2 running backs in both Quinshon Judkins and Travion Henderson, and then a Michigan running back, Donovan Edwards, was also on this list. But so this list is probably, I didn't count, but probably like I said, around 50. Yeah. And of course, there's no Ashton Genty on here. Even Trevor Etienne makes the preseason Heisman odds, but Genty didn't. And so I think that story is so fun. I haven't seen the article that Matt Hayes wrote be published yet in USA Today Sports, but I'm super excited
to read that. Yeah, I am. When we're talking about the surprise, another fun surprise one would have been Diego Pavia too.
Mm-hmm.
For
Absolutely.
sure.
So much fun.
The cult hero, folks.
Yes. Right, and the journey that he took to where he is at Vanderbilt, and the fact that we have a top 25 tilt in Nashville this Saturday with number 5 Texas taking on number 25 Vanderbilt. I mean, I'm rooting for Vanderbilt in the storyline.
You can't not give it to me.
Well, especially too because Florida then plays Texas the next week.
Guys.
So exactly. All right, when we return, Taylor Dahl has a tangent. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Helmets and Heels.
This hour is brought to you by First Coast Honda Dealers. If you're on the prowl for exclusive updates and insight, get your fill on Jaguars Today.
I like it.
With Mike Dempsey and Fat Tony, 10 to noon weekdays.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios at
1010XL.
At Hodges Mazda, we are proud of our solid reputation in the Jacksonville community. Lauren Brooks here. As your hometown Mazda dealer, our high customer service standards and our huge inventory of new and used cars provide our customers a consistently first-rate car buying experience. Our professional non-commissioned sales team puts your best interest first without exception. And every vehicle purchased from Hodges Mazda comes with 2 years free maintenance. Visit Hodges Mazda today or shop online at HodgesMazda.com and discover the Hodges Mazda difference.
Injured in an accident? Have mounting medical bills? Can't work? Don't worry. Zach's got your back. I'm Zach Von Rowan of Von Rowan Law. I will fight for the compensation that you deserve. Set up your free consultation at zachsgotyourback.com.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwood Jewelers. Clayton, I've heard you talk about the quality philosophy of Underwoods. Just what is that?
Frank, simply stated, the Underwood quality philosophy is fine jewelry and gifts will bring customers back and create new customers through the endorsements given to Underwoods by our satisfied customers. However, it's our definition of quality that's really been the Underwood difference, because quality has to go beyond materials and craftsmanship and has to include things like design, how it's presented, our service, our integrity, a customer's experience in our store, and the satisfaction a customer feels when they've chosen a special gift from Underwoods. A person or a company earns a reputation over a long period of time. And in Underwoods, we know that you earn your reputation every day, because that good reputation can be lost in a matter of days if you're not committed to doing the right thing for the long term.
That's Underwood, serving excellence in North Florida since 1928 in San Marco, Avondale, or the shops of Ponte Vedra.
It's Helmets and Heels, Kingfish Pest Control Wednesday. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
If you suffer from constant burning, tingling, or numbness in your hands or feet, it could be a serious condition called neuropathy. I'm Dr. Nathan Riddle, DC with Riddle Wellness in Ponte Vedra. Neuropathy is treatable, and we have seen great results by using state-of-the-art, non-invasive therapies to target damaged nerves, reduce symptoms, and improve nerve function. Call 904-395-5598 to schedule your free consultation today and learn how you can live pain-free. Call 904-395-5598.
Hey, football fans, looking for the ultimate game day experience? Best Bet St. Augustine has you covered. We're talking big plays on the big screens, food specials that'll make your taste buds cheer, and drink deals that'll keep your spirits high. And get this, we're open till 4 a.m., serving food and drinks until 2. Make the smart play. Head to Best Bet St. Augustine and ante up for your team. Find us at bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com. Best Bet St. Augustine, where every game day is a win.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy with Southeast Orthopedic Specialist, congratulating this week's high school scholar athlete, Mason DuBois, senior volleyball player at Mandarin High. Macy is a member of the National Honor Society, has applied to attend the University of Tampa. Congratulations, Macy.
The Money Pages brings you this week's Red Zone featured player of the week, number 13, Jaguars wide receiver Christian Kirk. Kirk played college ball at Texas A&M and was drafted by the Arizona Cardinals in the second round in 2018. Make sure to pick up this week's Jags game program with a commemorative ticket of Christian Kirk inside. Download the Money Pages app for weekly specials. Money Pages, official sponsor of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
The experts at AMCO have been fixing cars for almost 60 years. Over that time, they've gotten more complex than ever. That's why our techs undergo rigorous training and certifications, so they can fix anything, including the most complicated repairs that come with some of the latest technologies. After 60 years, there's nothing we haven't seen or fixed. It's how we know cars inside and out.
Money tight? We can finance almost anybody. Find the AMCO transmissions nearest you at amcojacksonville.com.
What defines a hero? Dedication, loyalty, courage. Every day at AMCO, we serve heroes. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. From complex transmissions to simple brake jobs with flexible financing and the extra safety precautions we need. The heroes we serve don't all wear uniforms. They're people like you. At AMCO, we're proud to serve all of you. AA MCO.
Family owned and operated in Jacksonville, Orange Park, St. Augustine, and St. Mary's, Georgia.
Hey, it's Tony from Tony D's Pizza. If you love our pizza and pasta dishes, let us cater an event for you. Family function or office parties, we can deliver you an amazing Italian meal. Remember, it's not just pizza at Tony D's. Bay Meadows in $2.95.
Veterans, you've served our country. Now it's time to serve your future. Why carry the weight of high-interest debt when you can use your home's equity to wipe it out before January? Hey, it's Prosser here for my friends at Loan Pronto. If you're a veteran, Loan Pronto's VA Equity Advantage program lets you access 100% of your home's equity so you can pay off high-interest credit cards, car loans, and more. Imagine pulling out tens or even hundreds of thousands with no junk fees and no hassle and locking in an APR in the 5s. Most veterans using Loan Pronto save over $800 a month. Plus, If you're stuck with a high mortgage rate, ask about our VA Streamline Refi with no income verification and no appraisal required. Loan Pronto is committed to honoring your service. Call now and take control of your financial future before the new year begins. Call 904-999-1508 or go to loanpronto.com. 904-999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166178, subsequent lender approval.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
You're listening to Helmets and Heels.
Illuminated by
First Coast Lighting and Fans.
On 1010XL.
Before we get to Taylor's tangent, we do want to address a report that Sporting News put out there that was aggregated from a couple different sources in Chicago that Taylor's going to kind of pull back the curtain and reveal for us. There is this story floating out there that the Bears are trading for Trayvon Walker. We just wanted to let you know, since several Heeligans have sent it to us, this is inherently false. And that's not just from our reporting. That is also from the idea of where this started from, which was, quite frankly, a non-reporter reporting it, and then this being aggregated and being speculated on by actual media outlets in Chicago and being taken as gospel by national outlets that, quite frankly, just want you to click on their website, not to speak out of turn there. Yeah. So, yes, we've seen this article. Several of you have sent it in on the text line, Design by Lifetime Enclosures. Not real. Yeah. Not real from both the perspective of reality and also where it originated from.
Yeah, I think both sides it's not real. I think that it started, and I was saying this to you guys during the break, but it started with like some just random Bears podcaster that, like, no offense, but like 400 follower type podcaster who in his podcast had mentioned like some of the guys that possibly the Bears could go get. And he mentioned Trayvon Walker. And so, like, the title of that was a little bit misleading, I guess. And like you said, Mia, maybe, like, people do that for clicks, obviously. But in it, he did say he had heard that he was hearing some rumors float around that the Bears have called the Jags for Trayvon Walker and that the Jags were listening, blah, blah, blah. That got taken from the Sports Mockery website, and they wrote an article on it, which then got pushed to like bigger outlets. But yeah, from everything I've heard, like neither side, obviously it made zero sense for the Jags side. You're not going to give up Trayvon Walker for a 4th round pick. That'd be dumb. And probably your best defensive player right now in the beginning. And then on the Bears side, they're not going to make a splash move like that. No offense for someone like Trayvon. If they're going to make that splash midseason move, it's going to be the two names I've heard are Myles Garrett and Max Crosby. Like, those are the level names they're looking at. And if it's not those, then they're going to sit pat, is from what I've heard.
Good to know. Glad we addressed that. Also, back on September 26th, when the Jaguars had dropped to 0-3 following the loss on Monday night to the Bills, Dan Graziano of ESPN highlighted that DeAndre Hopkins of the Titans and Christian Kirk of the Jaguars could be dealt to the Steelers. As we are well aware now, DeAndre Hopkins has been moved, not to the Steelers though, to the Chiefs, the world champions. So the fact that he highlighted both D-Hop and Christian Kirk does now make people wonder.
Because of D-Hop, yeah.
Right. Now that D-Hop has been moved, could Christian Kirk be on the move?
Right. I can tell you, I've heard that the Chiefs did call about Christian Kirk. I think the Chiefs did their due diligence and I think called all 31 teams. Yeah. That suggests that
Except the Panthers.
Yeah. Well, hey, listen, Deontay Johnson, maybe. I mean, maybe, yeah. So's Adam Thielen and Xavier Legette. Yeah. Xavier Legette. Yes, there were calls made. I don't know anyone besides the Chiefs who has expressed interest, but yes, Graziano, not Joe Graziano, Dan Graziano of ESPN and Jeremy Fowler have both been hot on that train for a couple of weeks now. And look, if only on paper, I understand why they're floating it out there. The emergence of Brian Thomas Jr., the lack of targets for Christian Kirk, that would suggest that, with a player being paid $14.5 million this year, expected to be paid $15.5 million next year, do you ultimately say we want to move in a different direction? I don't believe the Jaguars do, because I think not only do they recognize the importance of Christian Kirk on the field from the schematic game plan and game point and standpoint of, yes, part of why Brian Thomas Jr. is, having opportunities is because teams are having to account for Christian Kirk. They have to account for Evan Ingram, Gabe Davis on top of Brian Thomas Jr. And I also think you can't put a price on what Christian Kirk means to that locker room in this organization.
Yeah, and specifically Trevor Lawrence. I mean, the relationship we know that they have off the field, I think, is also really important. It's something that I feel like that's probably Trevor's best friend on the team. You might think it would be Etienne because they go back to the college days, but I think just where they are in their lives, it seems like that would be Kirk. All right, right now, Taylor Dahl, take it away.
Now, Taylor's Tangent, served up by Chick-fil-A on 1010XL.
So I have a little bit of a fun one today.
Ooh, okay, let's have some fun.
I saw a list, and the list is the top 15 most hated NFL players right now, and this is according to Ranker.com. And so I want to see if you guys can guess some of these players that land on this most hated players. Some I may have to give some clues. Some I think you guys will get right away. Some of them very obvious. Some of them close to home here in Jacksonville. So I just want to see if you guys can get any of these. So who would you consider, this is obviously league-wise, NFL, are some of the most hated / disliked players in the NFL right now?
Well,
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers.
Ding, ding, ding. I can guarantee without waiting.
Aaron Rodgers is 5th most hated on this list.
Fifth.
I'm surprised it's not higher, but and by the way, Coach Driscoll would want us to say most disliked.
I know,
not
that's
hated.
why I said slash.
So we'll go with disliked, not hated. But yeah, Aaron Rodgers is in the top 5. All right, another player who I would imagine then Patrick Mahomes.
Yep, Patrick Mahomes is on this list. He is 3rd most disliked.
Well, and if we're going to say
Good
Patrick
editing.
Mahomes, then that goes without saying. We have to also say Travis Kelce.
Travis Kelce is the 2nd. And I think the
Really?
Swift thing
Has
it
vaulted
added to
him
that.
up.
Yeah.
100%.
Interesting. Okay.
It can't be Jason Kelce because he no longer plays.
It also can't be Tom Brady because now that he's a partial owner of the Las Vegas Raiders, he has all but set. He no longer can play. He's officially retired.
Yes.
So it can't be Tom Brady, and it's not Mahomes, and it's not Kelce.
It is Mahomes. Kelce. Oh, you're talking about number 1.
Yeah.
Is it Chauncey Gardner-Johnson?
No, and he's not on the list. And that when I saw this post, I commented. I was like, CJ Gardner-Johnson should be on this list. And the amount of likes I had on that comment, I was like, just that alone shows you how disliked he is in this league.
I'm really surprised that number 1 is not one of the players we've mentioned.
Number 1, think about somebody who just got injured who is off the field.
Oh, the nasty man.
Oh, Deshaun Watson.
Duh.
That
Number
makes
1
sense.
disliked
Okay,
player
that makes sense.
Honestly,
in the NFL right
I
now.
think my brain goes to the best players who are also disliked.
Yeah.
And I just don't even think of Deshaun Watson as a good player
So I
anymore.
will say,
But it makes sense.
the top, like Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers are probably, I'm looking, the best players right now in the league. Oh, aside one person on this list. Some of them are not very good right now in this moment. Some have been good in the last couple years, but I'll give some hints for some others. So
what about Jalen Ramsey before you?
Ramsey is on here.
Okay.
So Ramsey is towards the bottom of the list. He is 9th on the list, but he made it.
Okay.
So it's not just here in Jacksonville.
One of our Heeligans on the MyBookie Digital Studio, Floyd, says Diggs.
Stephon Diggs is on the list.
All right.
Diggs is 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th on the list. Oh, no, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 8th on the list.
Okay, so we got what?
Oh, because I forgot this is 15. So Jalen Ramsey is actually 14th.
Oh, wow. So he's that low. Okay,
Yeah.
so this is 15. All right. Within the top 10, we've
Another
got
diva
what?
wide receiver.
You have
4 to go.
number 1, Deshaun Watson. Number 2, Travis Kelce. Number 3, Patrick Mahomes. Number 4, you do not have. Number 5 is Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
Number 4 is another quarterback. Think of a team who has high expectations every single year and gets let down in the postseason.
Oh, Dak Prescott.
Oh, yeah, Dak
Yeah,
I get, but that one's unfair because
That's what I feel like too.
He's a Walter Payton Man of the Year. Like, I don't blame it on him. Like, make Jerry the 4th most hated person.
What about Russell Wilson?
Russell Wilson is
Okay.
on the list.
Yeah, that one's
Russell Wilson is right past Stephon Diggs at 9th most disliked player in the NFL. So you have Dak Prescott, Aaron Rodgers. After that, you have the 6th and 7th players are both guys that were really, really good in their careers at one point, are not anymore. One is people, I think, dislike him because of his dancing and stuff on TikToks and da-da-da. Another, I think, is another guy that plays along Dak that just has fallen off the face of the earth.
I don't have TikTok, so who dances on TikTok?
Think of the wide receivers.
Oh,
So there's 2 technically on this list that are known for like TikTok dances.
all I know is Jackson Mahomes. But he's not gonna be on the list.
Juju's on this list.
Okay.
He is right after Russell Wilson at 10th.
trying to think.
Think of another person the Titans tried to
rehabilitate?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
I think it was the
D-Hop?
Titans. No, previously.
Julio? No.
Oh, no. So I'm thinking of someone else. It was Julio who they had. So this one is, I'll just tell you, Odell Beckham is the next after Aaron Rodgers.
I feel like he's non-existent
That's
now.
what I know. There's some of these, I'm like, I think some of it hangs on to...
Yeah, yesteryear.
Yes. And so this next one, alongside Dak Prescott, a guy that used to be really good that has not been good, and they traded away their other, and he sucks this year. I don't really totally know why people hate them. I think just because he was a really good running back at one point.
I don't know. You can tell us.
Zeke Elliott.
Oh,
is
okay.
next
Well,
behind
because he
Odell.
played for the Cowboys.
Yeah. And to me, that one's, I guess, the only reason I can think of that one is because Zeke was like so good, and then he kind of has not been, and then they get rid of Tony Pollard, and they keep Zeke, and Zeke's just kind of like whatever. So anyways, Deshaun Watson, Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, Dak Prescott, Aaron Rodgers, Odell Beckham, Zeke Elliott, Stephon Diggs, Russell Wilson, Juju Smith-Schuster. Behind this is a kicker. Think of the one
Butker,
kicker.
yes, which someone on the text line did submit Butker.
Yes,
so
Harrison
yes.
Butker is next on this list. Behind that, a wide receiver that had some controversy week 1 during the week of the Jags played them.
Tyreek Hill.
Yes, so Tyreek Hill is beyond that. I think that one more so is off the field stuff too. A lot of the stuff that Tyreek's done off the field maybe make people not like him. Same for this next person, a running back who just recently got their job back with the Kansas City
Kareem
Chiefs.
Hunt.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then
anything off the field is certainly going to sway people.
Also,
And that I
anything
understand.
Chiefs also tends to sway
there's a
people.
common denominator
Right,
here.
because the Chiefs, by the way, to me, when I saw the trade this morning for DeAndre Hopkins, it reminds me so much of the Patriots, not necessarily the in-season trades. The Chiefs have certainly done that before with getting guys like Kadarius Toney and Mecole Hardman.
Yeah.
But the Patriots always made the right moves at the right time.
Yes.
And that's where it feels like the Chiefs have already basically usurped the Patriots in as far as they're winning earlier with Patrick Mahomes, right? Like Brady won a lot, but he won a little bit later in his career. And so now they're already the dynasty, and they're continuing to make the right moves. I mean, Andy Reid even told reporters earlier this week, like, yeah, I'm going to talk to Brett Veach, the GM, like basically addressing the wide receiver position after Juju Smith-Schuster had the hamstring. Like he basically just flat out told reporters and everyone else in the
We're
world,
gonna go
like,
trade for somebody.
Yeah, we're on the hunt for somebody.
So the final one is I have no idea. So if anybody out there in the world can tell me why who can tell me why this person is on this 15th most hated list. I don't think you guys could probably name 100 people, and I'm not sure, unless I'm completely missing something, but Jerry Jeudy.
That's random.
Yeah.
I truly, so if
What did
anybody
Jerry-
on the
what did
text line
Jerry
knows
Jeudy
anything
do?
that Jerry Jeudy has done.
Now people are going to be searching the legal
Yeah,
records of
like
Jerry
yeah.
Jeudy.
Someone on the text line reminded us that Zeke also had the public groping incident a couple years back.
I forgot about that.
Alvin Kamara, obviously, with his legal
Yeah,
situation.
he's not on this. He's not, obviously. Michael Thomas is another one that's had some of those type of things that's not on this list.
If you're not on a winning
But yeah,
football
Jerry
team,
Jeudy
they
is.
don't
I'm so
care about
confused.
it.
When
South,
they said that,
hey, high tide on the south side if you're listening right now.
someone
What
tell
went
me
down in
why
Tuscaloosa? Like, because this is news to me.
All right, Taylor, great job on the tangent. We have lunch for 2 right now.
we do lunch on the ladies, lunch for 2 to Chick-fil-A. Give us a call at 641-1010. Let's say caller number 5.
All right, we've got one segment to go here on Helmets and Heels on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
This hour of Helmets and Heels is brought to you by First Coast Honda Dealers.
At Honda, we appreciate all the comparisons to other vehicles. And no matter how many times they compare their vehicles to a Honda, only a Honda is a Honda. Remember, value, quality, safety, there is no substitute. Visit your local Honda dealer now and experience the difference.
Mia O'Brien here, and folks, they've done it again. I am, of course, talking about my friends at Duck Duck Rooter. I'll take you back to Sunday night, wrapping up watching Sunday Night Football, and I spy a puddle by my dishwasher and kitchen sink. Who did I call? My friends at Duck Duck, of course. Jeff, Ashley, and the team had a reliable technician at my house the next day. Be like me and call Duck Duck Rooter, 904-862-6769, or online at duckduckac.com. Duck Duck Rooter is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hacker here, and guys, the countdown is over. I didn't just hit the 100-pound mark. I blew past it thanks to Awaken 180 weight loss. 107 pounds gone just like that. More weight than a quarter keg of beer. Speaking of beer, here's where it gets fun. We're throwing a big celebration at Mr. Chubby's Wings in Ponte Vedra Beach. Yeah, you heard that right. A weight loss party at Mr. Chubby's. The irony's juicier than their wings, but here's the thing. I can celebrate at Mr. Chubby's and still keep the pounds off. If you didn't know, yes, wings are still on the menu while losing weight with Awaken 180 weight loss. Join me in 1010XL on November 9th for the Florida and Texas game, and you could win a spot at my table. Food is included. There'll be ticket giveaways and more for the celebration. If I can shed a whole Mr. Chubby and still throw a party at one, what's holding you back? Call Awaken 180, 844-346-1800, or hit up awaken180weightloss.com and let's get it done.
Are you 18 years or older, just got married, just got divorced, or have children? Listen up. Have you done your last will and estate planning? If you have questions, call Matt Hinson with the Hinson Law Firm. Reach him at 527-1700. Office is Jacksonville, Florida. And don't let the state decide your fate.
Mia here for MyBookie. Our listeners have been killing it in a year full of surprises. MyBookie is the one book that has your back. No fluff, no second guessing, just straight up action. Does your other sports book pay out when you push on a bet? MyBookie pays you back. And if you're new to the game and not sure where to start, we have you covered. Step 1, use our promo code 1010XL. That'll double your bankroll with a 100% deposit bonus right from the jump. Here's a pro tip to get you rolling. The NFL teams with powerhouse offensive lines are dominating the run game this year, and betting game total unders has been printing money. Stack that with MyBookie's risk-free Thursdays. Why wait? That's right there, a new risk-free odds boost each and every Thursday. To find the bet, click the Bet Boost tab and scroll down. If it hits, you win. If it doesn't, MyBookie refunds your money. Sign up now and get your double deposit bonus with promo code 1010XL. MyBookie, the best sign-up bonus for Florida bettors. Bet anything, anytime, from anywhere with MyBookie.
Helmets and heels.
Kingfish Pest Control Wednesday.
Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. You know, I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation, light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Go to CarlsonDentalGroup.com. That's CarlsonDentalGroup.com for all of your dental needs.
The Florida Forum Speaker Series welcomes former UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson October 29th. For your chance to win tickets, text FORUM to the text line covered by Lifetime Flooring at 641-1010.
16 years serving great craft beer in Jacksonville is saying something, and that's worth a round of applause. And Bold City Brewery is celebrating. Duval's oldest brewery is set up for a big party October 12th, and you don't want to miss it. Live music all day, great food, giveaways, and growlers galore. In fact, Bold City Brewery will be giving away free pints, and someone's going to win free growler fills for a year. It's all at Bold City Brewery, Roselle Street in Riverside. Check out all the details at boldcitybrewery.com.
This right here is as good as it gets. This is life getting lived without obligations or complications. This is filling your cup and savoring the moment. This is the gift of presence, served to you in a place where there's room for everyone and enough to go around. And the best part, it's always Sonny's here. Sonny's Barbecue, local pitmasters since '68.
Elbow pain, whether acute or chronic, can make it difficult to do normal activities, like playing sports, doing household chores, or even sleeping comfortably. Dr. George Barr here, and no one wants to deal with pain without solutions on how to feel better. We've all heard of tennis and golfer's elbow, but there's plenty more that can cause pain, like osteoarthritis, muscle tears, and nerve entrapment. All are treatable at Barr Orthopedics. Getting you back to full health is our mission, and there's a number of different treatment options we can offer. Call us today or visit barrorthopedics.com.
Atlantic Self-Storage, the official storage partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Need to make room to watch football in your home or need a place to park your boat or RV? Store it all at Atlantic Self-Storage. Over 50 locations in Northeast Florida. 24-hour access, all with month-to-month leases. Moving, they can help with supplies. They make storage easy. Go to AtlanticSelfStorage.com or call 877-WE-STORE to find a storage solution near you. Go Jags!
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, head team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jags, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Fred Taylor this morning on The Drill on handling the two-back system between Tank Bigsby and Travis Etienne Jr.
The coaches are going to make the decision on, who gets these reps or who gets these reps and who's going to get paid eventually. And even if you go forward to 2008-9, I asked to take a pay cut to stay in Jacksonville, and knowing Maurice was going to be the guy, and that would have tested me a bit differently to have to take the back seat if they had named him the starter. But I was in position to compete no matter what, and then I was in position to make them make the tough decision on who deserved what rep.
Fred Taylor on The Drill. I'm Andrew Gibson with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the cool down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
Whew. What a day. What a day. Happy to have the Jaguars back in town. Trevor Lawrence, Doug Peterson both met with reporters earlier this morning. We will have locker room availability this afternoon, so keep it locked on the 1010XL social channels. First time that so many of us who did not make the trip over to London will get a chance to speak with these players in person for the first time in a couple of weeks, which is crazy to say. I also think it goes without saying that you don't win this one, Jacksonville, that's where we can fully begin to have the conversation about trades. Doug Peterson did remark this morning that if they were to lose, they'd be 2-6. That's a spot that this team and the core of this organization is very familiar with from 2 years ago. Can lightning strike twice? I'm not so sure, especially knowing the gauntlet of a middle part of the schedule that the Jaguars have.
Yeah, I think that I was just talking to Lauren about this off air, but for this weekend, just everybody go. Like, grab your grandma, grab your cousins, grab your sisters, because the green and yellow are going to be everywhere, and you need less of that. Don't make it look like...
Hide your kids, hide your wife.
Yes. Oh, my gosh. I was talking about it in the hall. I was like, the color scheme's terrible, and the cheeseheads are terrible. Everybody just bring your whole family this weekend and pack out the bank so we don't have to deal with that.
I did see Culver's is now selling like hot honey cheese curds, and like
I did see that too.
Part of me is like, ooh, is this in honor of how we're gonna eat those cheese heads on Sunday, Duval?
I will cool down with, I'm not that excited about the Saturday slate of college football. Yes, there are a few games here and there that are top 25 matchups. You've got Taylor's beloved Notre Dame taking on Navy. Both of those teams, well, Navy undefeated, Notre Dame with just one loss, but both of those teams certainly vying for a potential spot in the college football playoff. You've got Texas at Vanderbilt. You've got Missouri at Alabama, but it's not, and FSU Miami, we don't even really have to watch. I mean, other than to see Cam Ward. And yes, LSU, Texas A&M, that's probably the best one. That's a fine slate, but it's not nearly as good as what we've had the last couple of weeks. Yeah. And what we're going to have the next couple of weeks is going to be fantastic. And so college football, I need a little more sizzle out. Yes, the SEC, the games I just read off to you outside of Notre Dame Navy, those are good.
Yeah.
But where's some other, where's Ohio State playing a good team? That won't happen until next week.
A lot of bye weeks.
Right, yeah. I don't love the bye weeks all coming at once.
Yeah, the Notre Dame's lost to Northern Illinois. Still can't get over that one. That was fun. Yeah, I know. And I feel like especially coming off the weekend we had. Like, when you have the weekend in college football that you had and then you go to this weekend, that's probably why it even looks more disappointing. But I do think you are getting to that stretch where there are a lot of important games. And we've talked about, obviously, the Big 12 and how, aside from BYU, everyone's kind of all over the place trying to find a leader for that conference. So it will be, there's interesting games, but you are still waiting for some of these more difficult games for the big name schools right now.
Yeah, next weekend, the Ohio State, Penn State top 5 tilt is going to be fun to watch. And then you've also got Florida, Georgia, of course, here in Jacksonville, a marquee game, regardless of whether Florida's ranked or not. And then the weekend after that, you've got Alabama at LSU. So, especially if LSU wins this upcoming weekend, I feel like at Texas A&M, although that's certainly a difficult challenge.
That's
A&M
the
is a hard
battle
place
for
to
first
play.
place
It
in the
is, which is
SEC.
wild.
Yeah. Never
Nobody
would've
thought
thought that.
we'd be here. Exactly. A&M has, I think we could have also put them if we had to go like 6 deep as far as our surprises, because I think Army, Navy also would be really big surprises in college football. But Texas A&M, I did not think before the season, even though Mike Elko is a great coach, but I did not think before the season that A&M at this point in time would be the only team that, not the only team, but the team that's leading the SEC right now.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't have had it, especially after Notre Dame beat them week 1. After that week, because the offense looked Notre Dame's offense looked terrible. Riley Leonard was throwing picks, and we looked like a running back more than he did a quarterback, and then they still beat Texas A&M. So after that first week, I was like, oh, this is going to be a long season for A&M, but nope, they turned it around after that Notre Dame game.
Now, we'd be remiss if we didn't reference who their 4 SEC wins are against. Florida, which was as flailing a Florida as I think you will find, not to predict the future, but that you will find in 2024. Arkansas at home, and Arkansas was coming off of a dramatic win, correct me if I'm wrong, over Tennessee, I believe. Home against Missouri at noon.
That's a big win.
Big trap game. Big trap game for the Tigers. Good job by A&M to hold steady and defend home turf. And then at Mississippi State, a game in which they only won by 10 points against the worst team in the conference.
Yeah.
And so that is where I think that this will truly be. And now it's a night game. I expect them to be all fired up and lathered up in College Station. But I do think this is truly the first big test of the season for Mike Elko and company.
Yeah, Arkansas, that Texas-Arkansas game, Arkansas was coming off a win over Auburn, and then they lost to Texas A&M, and then the next week they upset Tennessee. So that was kind of that 3-game weird stretch for Arkansas.
Yeah, Connor Wegman, like you said, Taylor, I didn't expect him to be able to be as accurate as he is. I mean, this is a guy that had a lot of preseason hype, but then after week 1, I was like, okay, never mind. Wegman's not that good. And now what A&M's been able to do is amazing. I don't know who wins the SEC. It feels like Georgia right now. It doesn't feel like Alabama. It doesn't feel like Tennessee. Maybe it is LSU. Maybe it is A&M. I don't know yet.
And it's funny because I feel like we had that same exact conversation preseason. Like we had when we were ranking the SEC, and anybody we talked to about that, everybody kind of had a different order for how the SEC would pan out. So it's as predicted, I would almost say, like not saying because people thought Texas A&M would be at the top, but more so the unpredictability and how many teams actually could be good this year in the SEC.
I thought for sure it would be Georgia facing off with Texas in the SEC championship because Alabama has a new leader in Kalen DeBoer, because LSU was rebuilding. They lost a lot of talent to the NFL. Yeah. Tennessee usually starts off hot and then fails to continue to win games down the end of the stretch. And so, and like I said, Elko in his first year at A&M, I just thought those two teams are the most talented. It'll be Georgia, Texas. And it could be, but it doesn't feel like that Texas right now is nearly as good as what I thought they were.
Since one of our Heeligans texted in and referenced the unbalanced and unfair SEC scheduling.
Yeah.
Here is the rest of the way after LSU for the Aggies. They're at South Carolina, which I don't think is a gimme putt. No. Shane Beamer has proven he can recruit the portal. I think they're the most underrated defense in the country.
Their defense has been good.
Mm-hmm.
Then Texas A&M plays host to New Mexico State. They then travel to the second worst team, arguably, in the SEC in Auburn. And then they are home against the Longhorns. You compare that to LSU, who, after the A&M game, is home against Alabama, has to go to the Swamp, home against Diego Pavia and mighty Vanderbilt, and then home against Oklahoma. If you ask me, that says that A&M, if they are able to handle business at home on Saturday night, should have the easier road, as crazy as that sounds, to finishing in one of those top 2 spots in the league. However, because I know you dog fans on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosure want something to say, I will put the asterisk there, and I will note that after the cocktail party, Georgia is at Ole Miss, home against Tennessee, and then 2 winnable games to finish the year, both in Athens against UMass and Georgia Tech.
New Mexico State, that's on A&M's schedule. Who played there last year?
Diego Pavia.
So does New Mexico State have something for Texas A&M up its sleeve because they
Diego's
can churn
not
out?
there.
No, but they can churn out good talent. I mean,
well, so
you
here's
never
the thing.
know.
Diego at New Mexico State defeated Auburn as a member of New Mexico State.
Right.
Pretty sure that New Mexico State, he was also the quarterback when they defeated Hugh Freeze and Liberty before Hugh Freeze came back to the SEC. And now Vanderbilt still has to play Auburn in the next month, folks. So I am personally, that is my storyline to watch in the SEC down the home stretch.
Would you put Ole Miss or Oklahoma as the more disappointing?
That's a good question. I think more was expected of Ole Miss, but there's a chance that I feel like their season is still in front of them because they do only have the 2 losses in the SEC.
Do they play each other?
They do play each other. Yeah, this weekend. But I would say I didn't have the highest expectations for Oklahoma because it was its first year in the league. So as of now, I'll say Ole Miss. But again, with only 2 losses, we still have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah. Ole Miss was my preseason most likely to disappoint.
Oh, really?
Just because I think the expectations were so lofty. I do think there's a path to the playoff.
Yeah.
And anything can happen once you get to the playoff. And look, when you look at their schedule, yes, Oklahoma should be a gimme putt. At Arkansas, everyone's learned you can't just walk into Fayetteville and think you're going to get a victory. Then they get Georgia, Florida, and then, yes, Mississippi State. So, again, akin to A&M, you could make the argument that the schedule lightens up a little bit for Ole Miss, but I would say that it's been pretty light to begin with.
Yeah.
I mean, you lost to Kentucky at home.
Yeah.
I also don't think you can look at schedules as of now and figure out what's going to happen because we've had some crazy upsets already this season. Like Taylor mentioned her team losing to Northern Illinois and certainly Alabama losing to Vanderbilt, Tennessee losing to Arkansas. Some of those make when you go through the rest of the season, you think, okay, well, this isn't as easy of a game as we once thought. Speaking of easy games, let's say hello to Leon Searcy.
Now, the 2-minute drill, brought to you by Injury Care Centers. Discover BioTarget Regenerative Therapy, a safer drug-free solution for lasting pain relief. Visit GoBioTarget.com.
Leon, I'm hoping Mia and Taylor are not listening right now as I ask you, should I take Miami to cover the 21 point spread?
Take it all day.
Against Florida State. That's how I'm
all
leaning.
All day, take it.
That's how I'm leaning.
What do you think that score looks like?
52 to 10?
Well, I'm thinking like this. By the first half, it should be 35-0. And you take Cam out the game, put the backup in, to run the ball a couple of times. They're not scoring the touchdown. So I'm going to say 49-3.
I think the bigger question is who's going to play quarterback for Florida State because they did briefly go to Luke Kromenhoek, the true freshman. They go back to Brock Glenn.
Luke Kromenhoek because he looked better than Brock
He threw
Glenn
a touchdown that got dropped in the end zone. Like that. If I'm a Canes fan, Leon, I'm hoping and praying it's Brock Glenn because I mean, up to this point, he can't score.
He had a series, if I'm not mistaken, we had the interception, fumble, interception.
Yes, that's correct.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And I think one of those interceptions was a pick six.
Oh, I love it. Absolutely. Yes, I want him to start for sure.
I can only imagine. You had some interesting things to say about the Jaguars' offensive line and defensive line on the Duval rundown yesterday. Are you going to talk more about that today?
Yeah, we're going to talk more about that today. We're going to talk a little college football, but more than likely, this team needs to figure out how to get to 5-7.
That's your number.
That's my number.
At the bye. If they can be 5-7.
5-7. And then, those games after these next 5, I think they're in a situation where they could be in the hunt. So they got to figure out a way to win 3 out of these 5 games going.
That, of course, includes the 4 before the bye and then the Houston Texans that first game after the bye.
That's it.
Can they do it as we sit here right now?
Only they know.
Yeah, we don't know.
We don't know. Only they know. Listen, I've always been told either you can or you can't, but you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's up to them.
Well, speaking of being right, an FSU fan and grad on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures just texted in, Leon, says, if we play really, really, really well, we might only lose 45-17.
I agree upon that.
All right, Leon.
All right, appreciate you.
Thank you. That's going to do it for us today. And remember, XL Primetime will be in the noon to 2 p.m. slot tomorrow. So we'll be back with you on Friday. For Mia O'Brien, for Taylor Dahl, for RJ Saunders, I'm Lauren Brooks. These heels are made for talking. We will talk to you on Friday, but don't go anywhere. XL Primetime comes up next.